Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. In the past 6 to 7 months, there were some reports coming mostly from the Russian side that Ukraine runs out of troops and they can't really get more because they are either trying to avoid recruitment or, just cross the border, bribe the doctors or try to bribe the border patrols and just or officers and cross and leave the country. Now the reasons for doing that are several. I will get into that a little bit later. I have here an article that provides, I would say, another confirmation, and this doesn't come from the Russian side. This comes from Business Insider, which is not a Russian media outlet. And they're gonna tell us what's going on and how the Ukrainians, according to them, give signs of not being able to recruit Ukrainians. That is, Ukrainian military is depleted. Let's see. I mean, we know that according to some numbers, hundreds of thousands of able men to be recruited, recruitment age, are across the border. I wonder why. Well, we're going to talk about it. Let's get into this article coming from Business Insider from December 15th, 2023. Ukraine needs new troops so badly it is taking people's passports and tried to recruit a mentally disabled man. Now, since this is a mentally disabled man, singular, I can't make a pattern out of this. Therefore, I don't know if that is legitimate in a way that there is a Ukraine, is taking people's passports. It's so desperate that tries to get, recruit a mentally disabled man, or is just a isolated incident. So let's read further here. Oh, look at these guys. Where are guys going? This is looks too new to be really active. I think this is just you see, not even a piece of mud on this or anything. And these are too clean. Okay, whatever, man. It says here, Ukrainian Territorial Defense Forces members on an armored personnel carrier during exercises. Okay, I got that. In a forest near Kiev. Ukraine is apparently getting desperate for more troops amid its war with Russia. Military recruiters have allegedly confiscated people's passports and forced conscription, the New York Times reported. The New York Times reported right here. In at least one case, recruiters tried to send a mentally disabled man to military training. So that not on the front, but military training. And they say in at least one case. Well, accidents happen if you consider how many people are recruited. If you have thousands recruited, a lot of things can happen over there, mistakes. I'm just trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Even though in these kind of circumstances, I'm guessing they pick whomever. As Russia's war against Ukraine, I don't think Russia's war against Ukraine. I think it's NATO's war against Russia in Ukraine with the Ukrainian men is set to soon enter its third year. Ukraine is getting desperate for more troops, so much so that military recruiters have confiscated people's passports and even tried to enlist a mentally disabled man, per a new report on recruiting efforts citing lawyers, activists, and other concerned civilians. Well, first point. You wouldn't have heard anything like this 10 months ago. Even if that happened, and I'm pretty sure it happened, I'm going to tell you why. My supporting evidence for my statement is this. How many Ukrainian troops died in 2 years? And I want that information not from Sputnik, Russia Today, TASS, or something like that. No, I want that information from New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, from these guys, BBC. Oh, you don't know? Maybe you know, but not from them. How is it possible? There's like an order given. So that information was stopped, prevented to be given to us, to the Western public, by our Western free media. In the East, they know. They made reports, Putin made, and others, the Russians know, or at least, approximate. Here, somehow we don't know, but we know to one Russian how many Russians died, and these guys told us. So how come these guys here, the investigative journalists, know exactly? They come with at one. Now they know the number of the Russian troops killed, but they don't know the Ukrainian troops. They received an order, don't say anything. How do you think it worked? They're all patriotic. They are not over there to be patriotic. They're over there to tell the truth, to inform us. That is their job. If you do that, that means you are propagandist. You hide the truth, you make a narrative. Propaganda, you push towards something, especially if you talk about, we're good, they're bad, and let's go. Keep the narrative going. Now, why do they take the passport? Because a lot of people try to avoid getting enlisted, obviously. Why do they try to avoid getting enlisted, or at least recruited? Well, there are several reasons. First, let's be nice. Maybe some people don't want to go to war. In general. Okay, that's very possible. Who wants to go over there? There's a group that wants, but most of us, I don't think we just want to go just like that. Secondly, maybe some people don't want to fight the Russians in particular. Maybe some don't want to fight for Zelensky in particular. And for what Zelensky stands for? Batch of the Western investors. That is, military-industrial complex from the United States of America, energy companies, finance sector. Maybe they figured this out, right? Maybe they like the Russians and say, I'm not going to fight those guys. Those are my cousins. I don't want to do that for those. And many other reasons. Maybe many other reasons. The thing is, if you show up at the border, you have to provide a passport, even though you have a medical, waiver. So you can't be recruited. You need a passport to cross. If you don't have the passport, you can stick that in your ass. And I'm going to say, who are you? We're not going to let you go without a passport. And the other ones will not let you come in without a passport. So by this, obviously, they killed the first step. Now, let's see. They have here the thing is, I don't like when they give me like one or two people making statements like a real life example. Yes, they are over there, but those are picked to make the point. I don't like that. Or they use the Twitter, what people say about an issue. You pick them. There are many other opinions over there. Why don't you pick them? They don't fit the narrative. So let me show you, for instance, this guy right here. And I'm quoting, there's lawlessness here. A 50-year-old Ukrainian taxi driver told the New York Times in a report published on Friday that details the forceful tactics Ukraine military recruiters have been reportedly taking to boost the Eastern European country's manpower in the bloody fight against Russia. The taxi driver from the Ukrainian city of Kitsman, who declined to give his name, out of fear of retribution, told the Times that military recruiters seized his passport and only returned it to him days later after he showed up to a medical screening. Local residents told the news outlet that recruiters from Kitsman have gotten a reputation as people snatchers. Well, the Times said it spoke to more than 24 lawyers, activists, soldiers, conscripts, and family members of conscripts about the strong arm strategies by military recruiters. Attorneys and activists told news outlet that the aggressive tactics, which have allegedly included physical force, exceed the limits of recruiters' authority and are bluntly illegal in some cases. Similar to other militaries, Ukraine provides exemptions from the draft under certain conditions, which include disability or illness. But in at least one case, Ukrainian recruiters tried to send a 36-year-old mentally disabled man who is on medication for depression to military training, according to the Times. Now, between you and I, I don't know how it is over there, but I know how it's over here. If you go here to a doctor and you say that you have certain kind of thoughts, all right, and you say that you're they will prescribe you something when you already got anxiety and depression. How do I know that? Because I know that. Oh yeah, I've been involved, my friends, in these kind of things. All right, I've been involved in not in this kind of like schemes. Let's say I spoke with a lot of people. I interviewed a lot of people, right, in different cases that I was investigating. So I can tell you that I would say from how many hundreds of cases I investigated and how many people, thousands of people I spoke to, adults and children, I would say 80% of them were on medication. 80%. I don't know if some of them told me or not, but about 80% they were on medication. I gotta tell you that. Maybe I like 70, maybe 90, around that margin. And there were opiates and amphetamines and depressants and all that. Adderall and garbage. So I know that firsthand. And with some I had to get into deeper to explain why this and why that. And they told me. Obviously, there's no confidential information revealed here because it's a general information, but I can make a study about it and I intend to do one. So again, the guys here, he got a medical waiver because he got depression. My American friends probably know, some of them, if they were involved in something like this. I would say how easily these guys give you medication for that. And then they diagnosed you based on your statements. Based on your statements. How else can they figure it out? Do you think they're going to put something on your brain and they're going to figure out your nervous system or something? They don't get that. No. Scary, but direct experience. I know that. It's not like, oh, you. Even though you're upset a little bit, you go to the doctor, you say this, poof, here it is. Anyway, let's go deeper into this and see what other examples I have. The man was cleared for, this is the name, Hrihori Harasium, was cleared for duty with certain restrictions and summoned for mobilization, the Times reported, citing military documents. They summoned to the army a person with an official diagnosis of mental disorder from childhood. Now, if you want to go to children, I work with children. Go and see the studies, how many children are on Adderall, for instance, and ADD, attention deficit disorder, or, you go in many other like this kind of ADHD and see how the percentage. And that's a mental disorder right there. Why? He didn't listen in classroom. I can tell you how I was cured of ADHD when I was a kid. Never had it after that. I'm just kidding. Never diagnosed with these things in Romania. And that was cured. I mean, you didn't pay attention. I'm just kidding. Okay, don't. But at least I'm direct experience. I know how many children get this kind of medication because they have this kind of. You have to ask this question. Okay, any mental disabilities, any mental issues, any mental diagnostic, and they have to tell you. Not they don't have, but they have no problem because some of them tell me because they were used to be Anyway, let's go back to these guys. So you have a lot of people wanting to leave. Obviously, these guys take your passport. You can't leave. You can cross the border illegally and try that if you're desperate. Obviously, I think this just confirms that the Ukrainians are, scraping the bottom of the barrel. Unfortunately, the Ukrainian population, in my assessment, used by interest. Military, financial, and energy related. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.